Under multiplication, please, if you jot this down. It's basically stuff that you've already done. It's 3-digit multiplication, but there's a little warning here because it's 3-digit multiplication when you have zeros. It may get a little confusing. I'll give you a couple example things and we'll find that one here. A couple examples and we'll look at them. Zeros when you multiply can make things just kind of complicated. For example, let's do this problem here. Let's say you're multiplying 243 times 120. 243 times 120. Now, there's a nice thing about multiplication because of the commutative property. You can multiply in any order. So when you write this problem down, you get to pick which one you'd rather have on top or on bottom. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. This one's probably not such a big deal. You can either do this as 243 times 120, or you could put the 120 on top and multiply it by 243. And that all depends on if you like dealing with zeros or not. Okay? Because sometimes zeros, like I said, can kind of throw you for a loop here. Remember what we talked about when we talked about multiplying here? That really when you do a multiplication problem here, you're actually combining 3 different problems kind of into one. Okay, this is like, in order to multiply 243 times 120, it's like you're multiplying by 243 times 0. Then you're multiplying 243 by 20, and then you're multiplying 243 by 100. So let's do it this way first. And if the zero's here, I would strongly recommend that you just fill in the blanks with the zeros. In other words, 0 times 3 is 0, 0 times 4 is 0, and 0 times 2 is 0. You know, sometimes people leave that step off and they get a little confused. What happens when I get to the 2 here? Because it's not a 2, it's actually a 20, I have to, Bryce, I start with the 0 automatically. And then I multiply by the 2. 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 2 is 4. And then when I get to the 1 here, it's not times 1, it's times 100. So when I get here, I have to put down how many zeros? 2. Okay, and 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2, and then you can add all that together. Remember, this is what I got when I multiply 243 times 0. This is 243 times 20. This is 243 times 100. And then you add all those together, you end up with 29,160. And like I said, if the 0 there kind of confuses you, and you'd rather flip them around and multiply the other way, you'll get the same exact answer. Let's do this one here. 120 times 3, 3 times 0, 3 times 2, 3 times 1. Bring down a 0 because this is a 40. 4 times 0, 4 times 2, 4 times 1. Bring down 2 zeros because I'm multiplying by 200. 2 times 0, 2 times 2, 2 times 1. And you'll still get the same exact answer, 29,160, either way you do it. But the thing is just being very careful with these zeros. Let's look at another one. What happens if the zero is kind of in the middle? What about, 243 times 102. Like I said, when I do this problem, I would probably do this. 243 times 2 is, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 2 is 4. Now, what about this 0 here? When I get to that middle 0 there, like I said, I would strongly recommend that you just go through and do it. You know, put a 0 down because you're in the 10th place. 0 times 3, 0 times 4, 0 times 2 are all going to give you zeros. But that way, at least you know you kind of hold that place down. And now I go over to the 100, which is actually starting with 2 zeros. And then 1 times 3, 1 times 4, 1 times 2, 6, 8, 7, 4, 2, lot of multiplication there, it's not too bad. And then the last thing maybe we'll talk about is what about times money? $3.25 times 120. Just know that when you get your answer, what are you going to have to do to it? You have to make it dollars and cents. Right? Multiply through by the 0. Put a 0 down because you're starting in the tens place there. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6. Put 2 zeros because I'm starting in the hundreds place. 1 times 5. 1 times 2, 1 times 3. Add them all together. If you write $39,000, 39,000 is your answer, that will be wrong because your answer needs to be in money form. So you need to put a decimal here and a dollar sign there. It's $390. Which makes sense, right? Because if you had just $3 times $100, you get 300. So you're somewhere in the ballpark there. Everybody think they can probably handle that? For the most part. So now, what I need you to do is write